Hey, all you indecisive bards and bardettes, welcome back to I Cast a Vicious Mockery.
A show about tentacles, horror.
And I haven't decided what else.
Well, I guess we'll get there later. I'm Matt.
I'm Austin.
Hey, I just watched this documentary about, well, it's this YouTube channel that he does theme park documentaries.
Okay.
He gets like pretty specific sometimes. Like he'll focus on a single ride. Or sometimes like even about like he did one about like Walt Disney himself, but like specifically in this particular event in his life. He's actually done several of those. Anyway, this one was interesting because I actually didn't know this. So you've been to Kennywood, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So that's for those of you who don't know, Kennywood is in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
It's the I believe largest amusement park in the world. Is what I was told by people when I lived walking distance from it.
Yeah.
So,
well, that sounds like something somebody would tell you if they lived there.
Take that with a grain of salt or a grain of rice.
Either.
And,
take it with a grain. This documentary was about, I didn't know it was about Kennywood when I clicked on it. It was about a Garfield themed dark ride.
Yep.
Okay. So I've been to Kennywood, but I somehow have only been to Kennywood exactly before that Garfield ride existed and after it existed.
Ooh.
But not during its existence.
Guess who's been there during its existence plenty of times.
You have?
Oh, yeah.
Did you ride it?
Yeah.
Yeah. It looks awful.
Yeah.
It looks like it was awful.
Yeah.
I guess I should
But
say.
what it was before and I think after that also do.
Yeah, well, okay, so
it's the same thing.
Yeah,
it was just Garfield themed for a little while.
Right, but the image, the video and the images of what the Garfield ride, at least what it is now, is not like a shameless shill thing to be like, oh look, it's Garfield. It's the same thing. I get that,
right? But
it's just like a Skelly Man now.
Oh, a Skelly Man.
Yeah, it's a Skelly Man themed ride, which still doesn't really make a whole lot of sense for what the ride. So for those of you who don't know, this is like a sawmill ride. I think that's like the name of the type of ride, but also what it was called.
Right.
And what it is called now.
Yeah. And in
sawmill?
between it was called like Garfield's Nightmare or something.
Yes, Garfield's Nightmare is what it was called. Yes, that is correct. It's the video is on a channel called Defunct Land.
Okay, yeah, I've heard of this channel.
You've heard of Defunct Land? Definitely would recommend just watching it because it's really good. It's really good. The video is really good. But I can't believe I had heard it. For some reason, it wasn't real in my brain. Like people told me like, oh yeah, that used to be a Garfield ride. But I just never believed it until I watched the video and I saw what the Garfield ride was actually like. And I'm so glad that it's not that anymore. I kind of wish that I had ridden it when it was Garfield, kind of. But also not really, because it was just really bad. It looked so bad. It looked so awful.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was really scary to my sister. The first time she went on it, probably as a 4-year-old or so.
Oh, that'd be terrifying for a 4-year-old.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely, yeah.
So I liked that. That was fun. Yeah, I think the last time I went on that ride, I mean, it was a long time ago, but I think I was like 14, something like that. Or 15. I don't even remember exactly when it was. Guess we'll have to pull out the yearbooks and
and look at it.
look,
Yeah.
but no, I think I have no good like special fun memories of that ride other than like my sister was scared, you know. It's just, it was like nothing.
Well, I learned a lot of interesting things about it. So first of all, Kennywood Park,
Yeah.
as it originally was literally, it was like this guy named Kenny had some farmland, and people like to go for picnics around his farmland. And he was like, yeah, sure, go ahead, have a picnic here. And then like eventually started called it Kennywood Park. And there was like a restaurant, and then they opened like a carousel eventually, you know, like it just kind of built up, and then eventually it became an amusement park. But the Sawmill was the first ride, like first like ride built pretty much as it was in Kennywood Park. And I think it was pre-1920s. It was like in the 1800s, I
Right.
think.
Yeah.
It was like 18 something when it was built, right? So they don't want to get rid of it because it's so old.
Right.
But throughout in its entire history, it has been known as the ride that couples go to mess around. You know? And I learned an interesting fact that Kennywood back in the day, back in like the 20s, they hired employees, paid employees, specifically to sit in the ride and like tell people to stop if they're like getting too into it. Like they'd be like, okay, if they're just like making out, don't worry about it. But if you see anything more going on, tell them to stop. So they did that for a while. But here's my favorite thing they did. They gave them eventually later in the history, they gave them like plastic baseball bats, and they were like, if you see cheeks, hit him with this baseball bat. Could you imagine being paid to sit in the dark and just watch these boats go by with a plastic wiffle bat? And if you see somebody's full moon, you just go to town with it.
Look, I'm going to be honest. I think there are people who pay a lot to have someone do that.
Yeah. Well, sure. It's part of it was part of the experience for some people.
Yeah, I'm sure.
But they have cameras installed. Okay, so I did go on this ride last year, and so I was with somebody. But myself and this person were not romantically involved at all. But
not until you got in line for the Sawmill.
Well, it was disconcerting though that when the boat goes by, like when you first enter in the area, there's literally like a plexiglass screen, and you can see all of the the monitors of all the cameras inside. And there's like an employee sitting in there, like waving at you, like, "Hi, yes, I am watching these cameras right now."
Yep.
It's just funny because I'm sure that has deterred people, but I'm also sure that has absolutely not deterred people at all.
I wonder how undeterred some people are by that.
Yeah. Some people probably prefer that.
I think so.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And it's not, like I'm sure you could get in a ton of trouble for that, because this person watching this camera is probably a 15-year-old
teenager. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Or maybe you have to be 18 to be like the ride operator for some of the. No, not for that one. Probably
not for that
one.
No. Well, and plus they're just. I think the person that's in that room is literally just watching the cameras.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
I think that's all they're doing.
Well,
I think that's all they're there for.
Yeah. Basket, what do you think about all this stuff?
Yeah, Basket, what's your opinion? That's a good thought.
I'm glad that was picking up a little.
It was, I disagree.
I guess
but
she's in the episode today.
yeah, she sure is.
We're not actually sure why Basket is so freaked out right now. She's really amped up for seemingly no reason.
Yeah, like really antsy for some reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
And I asked her if she wanted water. Basket, do you want water? She seems to want water, but she won't go and get it. You know where it is. All right, anyway.
Okay, well.
Hey, well, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Which I shouldn't have said that way because Basket was listening.
Oh,
and now
yep.
it's too late.
Yep.
But all right, what kind of D&D campaigns interest you? I'm talking about settings. I'm talking about themes. I'm talking about settings and themes. Let's look at that for a second. So, I think a lot of a lot of D&D happens in let's look at the official settings. There are a couple of them, and I have a basket hair in my mouth. Oh no.
Oh, yep, it's all over me now.
Yep, yeah, it's all over now.
It's all over.
So there are a couple of official settings, and some of them do more like sci-fi type stuff, a little bit. Some of them do more of a like city sort of urban type deal, or even like in a almost what's that? There's like a professional thing, like, right? Like you have a job, your character has this job and you can hire people and stuff like that. And some of them are more like low magic, like things are rough and it's the Dark Ages setting, you know? And I guess you do have to kind of tailor the setting to your story. Wait,
yes.
Is that true? Do I think that? Do I really think that?
I think that some.
Yeah, I guess so.
Some settings and story don't necessarily mesh.
Yeah. I mean, I guess you can play as you could do any story in any setting, kind of. But
yeah, kind of.
It comes in that case. It comes down to what your players are aiming for out of the game and like what they choose. But sometimes they will just go along with what they think the setting wants them to choose. I think that's where the issue comes in with settings. Like if the setting encourages you to play in a certain way and it's not exactly what those players want to do, you could technically do something different, but I think that they will just choose to go with it. For a lot of people would.
Yes.
I don't know the actual percentage, but
yeah, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. And I think that some players will do whatever the heck they want, no matter what. And I think that some players will do whatever they think they're supposed to do, no matter what. And I think most people kind of fit in the middle. So I don't know I think that if you make it clear, not necessarily explicitly, but if you make it clear through how you tell the story that you want them to do whatever is fun for them, that they will. And I don't know, it's a balancing act as it is for everything. But I think that there is something to be said that, you can't let not everybody will always have fun. And that's okay.
You don't think everybody always has fun?
No. But I don't think that's a bad thing. I think that it's okay. I think that if everybody does have fun, that's ideal. But I think that if like somebody didn't have as much fun this time, that's okay, because maybe they'll have fun some other time and other people won't. Like there'll probably be opportunities for everybody to have fun, even if they don't always all have fun. Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, okay. So you look at like animals playing, and I've heard that if an ant like one if two of the same animal are playing with each other, there's like, two dogs or two mice or two whatever. If one of them wins too often, the other one will stop trying to play with them. Right? Like but it's not it's not if they win once.
Right.
Or even if they win 50% of the time, sometimes it's like 70% or 80%. At that point, they'll stop trying to play together. And I kind of feel like it happens like that with D&D, right? Like if somebody has
okay, yeah.
is like having fun, 30% of the time, 40%, 50%, like each person probably has their own sort of limit, and you kind of have to tailor it to each person. But I think as long as you hit that, then you're good. You just have to think about each of your players individually, which is perfect in D&D because you can only have so many players, and that's also the reason why you only have so many players. So you have to try to get the right amount of fun in, but some of them get more or less enjoyment from other people's fun too.
Yes, some people will have fun automatically if everybody else is having fun.
Right.
I'm sure there are some people out here who have less fun the more fun everybody else is having, but I don't think that those people will enjoy something collaborative anyway. So
no, they prefer a competitive tabletop game.
Yes,
an experience. Yeah.
Yes. Right.
Which D&D doesn't do very well because of the randomness involved in it, and like the like character classes are designed to work together and not against each other in combat.
Yes,
and so it's just not balanced for that. That's my personal opinion. I don't have stuff to back it up, but I think that you could have certain classes can be more or less useful in combat against NPCs situationally, but they're all pretty good at something usually. But like against each other, there are ones that win every time. Like you can have a build that's 100% guaranteed victory.
Right, like barbarian, like rogue is not going to do very well usually. Like PvP.
Yeah, the players have too many abilities that cut off your sources of critical hits.
Right, exactly.
Stuff like that for a rogue.
Yeah, and once you're revealed, like hiding again is kind of like improbable. It's not impossible, I guess. You could probably find a way to do it, but
yeah, got to throw some sand in their eyes.
Right. Yeah, pocket sand. Classic pocket sand. Okay, yeah. So those are personality types that are more likely to enjoy D&D, but we've deviated from the initial question at hand, I think, a bit.
Yeah, that's all right. We'll get back to it now. So what I'm thinking is settings are not as important as genre and as themes.
Yeah. Yep. I agree.
I think that you can kind of pull off a campaign regardless of setting. I think you should just go with whatever setting you're in.
Yeah, let's talk about this. Go ahead and give me like a theme.
A theme.
And or genre.
Okay, let's go with a theme.
Okay, a theme.
Revenge.
Like
a revenge story. Think right. John Wick.
Okay. John Wick type revenge story. Let's see if we can come up with any examples that fit different settings, whether that's in film, television, video games, because there could be. Yeah. Okay, Western.
Well, yeah, exactly. Okay, so Western.
Western revenge. That's like almost
that's just a Western
genre in itself. Yeah.
No, it is. It is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the bandit steals your mom and your horse, or your horse's mom, maybe, because you need your horse to do the revenge. Well, no, I guess you go rescue your horse, then your mom.
Yes. Because you need your horse.
Because you need your horse to rescue your mom.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely, you do.
So
Okay, bad example. Space.
Space. Revenge Space one?
Yes, Revenge
Okay.
Space. Is there Revenge Space?
I don't think a lot of people do revenge stories set in space.
No, not a lot.
I think people want to relate to a revenge story.
Mm-hmm.
Right? They want it to be real. They want it to be like something that they could do, because they you know, you kind of you get that like feeling of like, oh, this is justified. This is what justice feels like. I love this feeling. When you see John Wick kill 500 people because they killed his dog.
Right.
Which
Yeah.
I mean, maybe you're not wrong that it is justified. Like it could be,
Mm-hmm.
but you know, it's that feeling of like, this is the payback that the world has been waiting for. Thanks, Basket.
The Basket's on the show.
You're on the show. Yeah, sorry. If somebody killed my dog, I would have to kill 500 people.
John Wick it up, yeah.
I guess I'd have to.
I mean, look at her. Look at it. Look at
this.
Basket. Look at her.
You see that?
Oh, yeah. I mean,
you see that?
I would go right along with you to that revenge.
She can't really wave. Our dog arms don't do that very well.
Yeah, no, they wouldn't.
No.
Okay, what about...
Did you know that Basket is part pug?
She's part pug.
6% pug. Look at that face.
Look at that 6% pug.
She's 2/3 beagle, 6% pug, and the rest is Jack Russell Terrier.
Oh, 2/3 beagle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, okay, interesting.
Yeah, that's what the DNA test said. We got a DNA test for her.
When did you guys get that done?
For her birthday. But it took a while to get back.
Yeah, it takes a while to get back.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, Basket, we know what you are now.
Yeah. You're no longer a mystery. Well, except for the way that you behave and everything else about you.
That will remain a mystery forever.
Yeah. And also, where's the pug part?
Yeah, where is the pug?
I think it's her eyes. Her eyes are a little big and puggy. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
Does Basket look like a pug?
A little puggy in the eyes. Are you
and her aggressive, angry stance with her back legs out, and
oh yeah,
that could be a little puggish.
She does
She
have
got that bulldog deal.
Aggressive stance.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, but she's not like pigeon-toed in at all.
No. So okay, why does nobody do a space revenge?
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head. It's not as relatable to be in space. But there definitely exists space revenge. For sure. It definitely does exist. I just can't think of any examples.
So, like, I think RoboCop might be a sci-fi revenge.
Yeah. Okay.
Right? So we're getting closer by starting there. But yeah, where's space one?
Yeah, because Star Wars does not fit that category.
No, it's hero's journey.
Yeah.
Like over and over and over and over.
Mm-hmm.
And then Rogue One is technically a heist movie, I think.
People
like
were calling it a war film, but that's not really what it was.
Yeah, I guess it could be that too, though.
It's sort of like a war film, I guess.
Yeah. And then Solo is a noir. No. It's like a gangster movie.
I never saw it.
Oh, okay. Well, you'll have to see it, I guess.
So I don't know.
It's a movie with double cross and
double. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but it's not a revenge movie. It's not like it's not like I'm gonna go wreck everybody. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
you could definitely pull off a revenge story in most D&D settings too.
Oh, for sure.
You could get that like, just whatever bad guy did whatever bad thing, you got to go put them in their place.
Mm-hmm.
Easy. That's actually that's what a lot of D&D campaigns end up like. You get a bunch of murder hobos on your table, and you got yourself a revenge story over and over and over.
Yeah, but like the other way. Like people coming up to the
Oh, they come up to your party
like,
for revenge.
Right. If you had a bunch of murder hobos,
That's true. That's true.
People would be like, "Oh, you guys are a problem. We have to get rid of you."
Dude. Oh my God.
It's a great idea, kind of.
Well, you know what the great idea is from it?
What's that?
They mess with the wrong guy.
Yeah.
And the revenge story actually starts.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
Like
they
bust into somebody's house and then
they kill his dog.
Yeah. And then like later on someone's like, wait, where were you?
Yeah.
And meanwhile, oh no.
I once saw him kill a man with a pencil. A freaking pencil.
Yeah. Dude, that could be really fun.
Yeah.
That could be super. I mean, so technically the opposite side of a revenge story is a horror film. It's a slasher.
Yeah. Yes.
If you tell the slasher from the other perspective, or sorry, if you tell a revenge movie from the other perspective, it's a sort of a slasher.
Sort of, yeah.
A lot of time in slashers and classic ones, they don't really dwell on the motivations of the killer.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah.
And a lot of newer ones they do. I don't know if that makes them stronger movies or not.
I don't think.
I think they were just trying to be like sympathetic and you know, but
yeah, a lot of filmmaking nowadays they evoke sympathy by being like, oh, but he's misunderstood because when he was a child he was bullied.
Yeah, but
it's like, okay, that's not how you do that.
Yeah, this is disproportionate now.
Right. Exactly.
So maybe their message is like, if you bully somebody, this is your fault. But like that's not a good story. It's good. Yeah. It's good if you think that. It's like you don't want to bully people, obviously, but it's not a good story.
Right. Exactly. You know, I mean, maybe you could see it justified if like everybody that the person killed was a bully or something, mm-hmm. and they like spared some people who were innocent of that specifically. I don't know, but still not very strong.
Right. It's a weak way to characterize them, but you know, I'm sure that there are counterexamples to that statement. They have, maybe not.
Well, they've also like retroactively done that with like OG horror mm-hmm. entities. Like, I'm pretty sure Jason now has some retroactive motivation, and Mike Myers, and
mm-hmm. Yeah,
I don't think Freddy Krueger does, but maybe. I don't know much about.
I thought he had like a silly kind of backstory.
Yeah, I think he ended up in space.
What?
Yeah, like that's the one of the Freddy movies died? Was in space. No,
okay.
You know, he ended up being in space, or was that a different one? Am I getting that wrong?
I thought he died in some like weird way.
Or was that Halloween that ended up in space? No, those are the ones that they're still making them now.
Halloween?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure that they'll make more of both of those other ones. Anyway, that's
yeah, okay.
That's plenty of that particular tangent.
That subject is exhausted.
Yeah. But all right, let's look at another theme. Okay, what about the opposite of a revenge story? Forgiveness. All right, forgiveness as a theme in a D&D campaign. How are we going to do that? Because here's a really dumb way to do it.
Okay.
You kill like 150 people in the bad guy's castle, and you get up to the bad guy and you say, I forgive you.
Right.
Right? Like after you just, massacred his, like all of his subjects or whatever.
Oh man, D&D is exactly the kind of game mm-hmm. where one would feel some serious ludonarrative dissonance if there was stuff like that going on.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Plus, like, if you go through the bad guy's castle and kill 150 people and then go up to him, even if you're like, we forgive you, they're going to be like, yo, you just killed 150 of my dudes. Like, that ain't flying. That ain't flying with me, you know?
Yeah, you forgive me?
Yeah, excuse me, but...
and how many people have I killed? Like 20.
Yeah.
Come on, dude, chill.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Way more. You guys have way more blood on your hands than I do now.
Yeah.
Okay, so but I do think that kind of theme would have to be up to the players to decide.
Yeah, I guess some of it. So, yeah, okay. So really, what we want then? Let's look at some. What other themes are there in a story? Are there stories about anything else?
I'm sure.
Do you just get revenge or you forgive people?
Well, there are obviously.
Oh, there are themes like growing up or like not necessarily coming of age, but accepting that, you know, the past is behind you, that sort of thing.
Oh yeah, like letting go.
Right.
Yeah.
But there, you know, then there is also the theme of the hero's journey, which is like,
it's been done many times.
Why would you do that in your D&D campaign? Like, we've all seen that one. That's not fun.
But again, there's a reason that it's been done so many times.
Mm-hmm.
It is compelling.
What do you think most D&D campaigns, like what are the themes in most? Do you think that they're like, without having played most campaigns, right? Like, what would you guess? What are most people looking for?
Well, it's about overcoming adversity. Mm-hmm. It's a very good versus evil.
I thought you were about to say it's a very good versity.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's about Goodversity. Where you,
instead of diversing, let's good verse.
Hello, my name is Matthew Moreland, and I'm here to talk to you about Goodversifying. You have a D&D campaign?
Yeah, I do have one.
Let me please explain to you the benefits of Goodversity in your D&D campaign. Goodversity, to put it in a word, is good. Goodversity is something everyone should consider for their D&D. Like, I just keep going and I never really say what it is or what's it. For $9.99 a month, you can have Goodversity in your D&D campaign.
Have you heard the song "The Perfect Product" by TWRP?
Yes, I have.
Okay.
I have heard.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes, I've heard that song. Yes.
Let's listen to it right now on the show.
Okay,
hey everybody,
and
tune your ears into this. Check this out. It really.
Yep.
Shoot, what key can I hit and not mess this up?
I
was gonna hit numlock, but then I was like, wait, I don't know what that does with Audition. There is no key I can touch right now. I will not press any keys on the keyboard.
I was like, obviously spacebar. Nope, that would do something for sure.
I think that stops recording.
And then
should we test it? No, we shouldn't test. Hey, don't cause troubles like that. You
enter? Nope, that would definitely
do something.
Any letter, they probably all do something.
They do, yes.
They all do
indeed.
something. I'm sure they do.
I don't know if they do it when I'm recording, but I don't want to take that chance.
What about a function key?
Oh God, no. God, no. Oh my God, what could the function keys even do? And like, okay, look at all this fur on the keyboard.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of basket hair.
You can't get rid of that right now. Now we're recording.
No.
I shouldn't have picked it up.
It's just going to bother me now.
Right.
That keyboard is basically a landmine.
Yeah.
You could turn it off and then hit a key. I thought it did something for half a second.
It did look like it.
It did not do anything, but I thought it did for like half a second. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm interrupting the song. The song is playing now.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. We're not actually going to do that.
No, I would. That involves
copyright licensing.
Yeah.
We'd have to call lawyers.
Yeah. That sounds like a lot of work.
I know. I'd have to bother TWRP, who I know personally.
Yeah.
I was also born in space, by the way.
Oh, were you?
Yeah.
Nice.
I mean, no relation to TWRP, but I was, yeah.
I think I was born in space, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, how can you know?
Yeah. I don't know if I was born at the bottom of a roller coaster or the top at Kennywood.
But you know you were born there.
Yeah. So I could have been born on Earth or in space. It's not clear.
What was it called before? It was called before they rebuilt it to be the Phantom's Revenge.
The Steel Phantom.
Yeah.
And before that, it was Danny Phantom.
No, well, that was a Nickelodeon television show.
Are you sure you're remembering that right?
He's a Phantom. Yeah. Yes, I think I might be.
Okay. Sure.
I started thinking of the theme song, and the only thing that played in my head was the Teen Titans theme song.
What about...
I don't know why.
Okay, so what about theme songs in D&D?
Theme songs in D&D.
That's what we're missing from a campaign.
You know, I did consider having like an intro song every time we played the campaign. I never did it because everybody... I mentioned it to a couple of people and they were all kind of like, why? I was like, you're right. Why?
I think it'd be fine to start with the same song, like have a playlist where you
start with the same song every time.
There's got to be like a sound manager for D&D though that lets you queue up stuff for certain situations.
I'm sure that there is.
But if there's not, I'm writing it tonight.
As somebody who's tried to use that kind of stuff,
you know what happens? Unless you don't have to think about it, you forget about it.
Well, yeah, it's just too distracting.
Yeah,
I mean, there's just so much to think about when you're running the game that like
it needs to be one button press at most to go from like we're just adventuring to we're in battle mode.
Yes. And if it was, I've tried making playlists and stuff too, but it's a lot more work. I'm just very picky. Maybe it's me. I'm really picky. When you guys were exploring like the desert themed place, I was like, I have to hand curate enough desert themed music that it has at least an hour and a half loop so that it doesn't feel like absolutely like grating, that it's the same music.
I do not think it is you. I think that this is a common thing.
You think so?
Yeah. Over preparation is it's probably the most common thing that gets people to not play D&D.
Yeah, wanting to get everything so ready that you just overload, like it's just too much work. At some point.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, I didn't feel that way about everything. I felt that way specifically about the music because I felt like that's the way that you really set the tone. The ambiance, you could say, of the current game.
Yeah, the ambulance.
The ambulance. You need to set the ambience because
well, the music does that a little bit, but the room does it more. So you should really probably work on the lighting. On like if you're in a desert, you should dump sand on the floor. So that way people can play with their toes in the sand instead of paying attention to the game.
Yeah, just like that song.
Yeah. Yeah, I know the one. We don't need to. We don't even need
I don't
to.
remember how it goes. Okay.
We don't even need to.
Yeah. One time when I was working retail, a guy that I knew came in. He was much younger than me. He was still in college. And he was buying libations for a college party.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, yeah. What's going on? Like, what are you guys doing? He was like, oh, we're having a beach theme. It was like the middle of winter.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, okay. Where are you? What's this beach thing going to be like? He's like, oh, we're getting a bunch of sand and we're dumping it on the floor of this frat house.
Yep. Oh yeah. People do that.
Well, I know people do that, but how do you get it out?
Well, most of it, you put it on a tarp.
Yeah, you have to tarp it up for sure.
And then you just accept the consequences.
And then you just accept the consequences.
Yeah.
Okay.
You have to learn consequences somehow.
Well, how do you?
And you don't learn that. You definitely don't learn that in grade school, and you definitely don't learn that in high school.
Yeah. So
let's be real.
Well, a lot of people don't learn that in college either. I can tell you that much.
Yeah. Unless you teach it to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what they're doing. See, that's why being in a fraternity is so crucial. That's not true. Maybe it's true. I don't know. I wasn't
consequences.
Yeah.
Learning consequences.
That's where you learn consequences.
Okay, but let me just tell you this.
You had me at but.
I've tried vacuuming sand before. Vacuums don't like it. It's too heavy.
Right.
So like, what the heck do you do?
Sweep it with the broom.
You have to shovel it out first.
Oh, if it's in a carpet, it's just there. Now you have a hard carpet.
Yeah. Well, that's what I mean. Like, I don't know what kind of space they were working with there.
Mm-hmm.
But even if it was a hardwood floor in like an older building,
right?
Like that's gonna seep in through the cracks. Like that's gonna there's gonna be sand.
You know what you got to do
underneath? What's that?
Hit it with a blowtorch.
Turn into glass.
Right.
Glassify it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Then you can get it out of there. Much safer.
That's the easiest way to do it.
That's the easiest way to do it.
You're right. They were also going to put a kiddie pool full of water in there too, by the way.
Yeah. Risky, but not crazy. I'll be real. Like that. Yeah. That you could do.
Well, that's fine. Yeah. Because water's easier to get rid of.
Yeah. You just let it seep into the floor.
And then it'll evaporate eventually.
It'll be gone at some point.
There'll be mold for days down there, but.
Not days. Mold is self-perpetuating.
Well, I meant there will be a lot of mold.
Oh, okay.
It'll last in perpetuity, until it's taken care of.
Yeah,
it'll be there.
We looked at a house recently.
Yes,
that had a pretty big mold problem, as far as we could tell. They painted over some of the mold, but no, we kept finding more.
Oh no, they painted over the mold.
Yeah. But I'm glad we didn't get that one.
Yeah, I'm glad you didn't get that one.
We're not going for that. It had a pretty nice yard, though.
Ooh, I don't think that's a really good
trade-off.
Yeah,
yeah. I wasn't really a fan of it. In general, it did have storm cellar doors.
Oh,
in addition to it had both an interior and exterior entrance to the basement.
Oh, that's great for a horror movie.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, cellar. Yeah, cellar open. Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, you know what? I didn't test them to see if they would open.
No need.
You're right. Oh my God, you're so right.
Why test them?
There was a bar in front of the door on the inside.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
What did they have
Well, so it went cellar doors, and then there was a wooden door inside, down some stairs.
Okay.
Then a door. That one was barred.
Mm-hmm.
It was just a wood. It was like a 2x4.
But
some metal brackets.
It was a wet bar, I assume, and
did that one have a bar? I'm trying to think. No. House we saw the day before had a bar. a wet bar in the basement.
Like just beer and wine, or were there spirits there too?
They had removed the alcohol. There was a computer. I didn't test the sink.
Wait, there was a computer?
There was just a PC tower just sitting.
A PC
under
tower?
the bar.
How old are we talking?
It was probably from 2010.
Oh.
But
that was 12 years ago now.
Yeah, it would have been like their previous one.
Interesting. That they were like, okay, well, we don't need this.
Yeah. Well, they don't need it, but also, you know how that gets with stuff. You're like, I think I have to do something with this before I get rid of it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And they just didn't want to.
Well, because they say I have to do something with this before I get rid of it. But that actually means first I have to look up what I'm supposed to do.
Right.
And then I have to see if that's correct.
Yeah.
And then when I find out that it is or is not correct, like that might loop for a little while.
Right.
And then I have to figure out who does the thing to it.
Right.
Whether that's me or somebody else. And then if it's someone else, I got to figure out if there's anybody nearby who does that. And if there's not, I have to figure out, why would I ever go far away to get someone who does that? And then you have to, it just keeps going.
And it's crazy because for some things you have to pay somebody to get rid of it for you.
Yep.
And it's like, of course nobody's going to do that. No wonder there are just tires thrown all over the place. Or like people just dump their refrigerator into a pile somewhere. Because who the
my dog just goes to the bathroom in the yard.
Right. I know. Because she's not going to get rid of it.
Right.
And if she did, that'd be gross. She might have done that when she was younger. A lot of female dogs, when they're young, do that.
We'll talk about it later.
No, we don't want to talk about that on the show?
No.
No?
No, that's
really?
plenty. That's plenty.
Oh, okay. Well, do you want a small homebrew for the day?
Yeah, give me a little homebrew.
Okay. Well, we've got user Sensitive Coyote 865 back.
Welcome back.
Yeah, Sensitive Coyote.
Sensitive Coyote 865. Listen, you're my favorite because it's so easy for me to find posts with your name on them. Some of the other ones don't come up so well, but Sensitive Coyote 865, you better believe I find their posts.
Awesome. All right, Sensitive Coyote. I love this, by the way, and I'm saying that because you're sensitive, and I want you to be assured that I like this. Hey, are you familiar with the D&D spell Hunger of Hadar?
Nope.
All right, great. There are a few spells with Hadar's name in it. And they're all like this, like, they're all very like, well, I talked about Bloodborne in the last episode, or maybe it was the episode, but anyway, I talked about Bloodborne recently. It's kind of that like eldritch horror kind of vibe to it. All the spells have that kind of thing. But this is a cantrip called Hadar's Touch.
Phil Collins has that one song about that.
Yeah. Hadar. What?
Yeah, you know. That Phil Collins song about she touches you and it's Hadar's touch and whatever, you know.
Hadar's wait.
I don't know how you're going to fit that into the meter of that song.
Oh, okay.
It's never going to happen.
Okay.
Okay, anyway. What do we got?
Your hands or fingers become long purple tentacles. Okay, that's where it starts.
Okay.
Make a melee spell attack against a creature within 5 feet of you. On a hit, 1d8 necrotic damage. And if the creature provokes an opportunity attack from you, like if it runs away from you before the beginning of your next turn, you can cast this spell to make a melee spell attack against it as a reaction instead of a weapon attack. And after you make the attack, your arms or fingers return to normal.
Oh.
Of course, it has scaling because it's a cantrip. So by 17th level, you're all the way up to 4d8. And this is for warlocks. Okay. So this is just nice. This is a nice little thing.
Yeah.
Nice little thing. I always appreciate it when, because, it's like, oh, there's flavor to it. Purple tentacles, 1d8, all that jazz, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I like that there's an additional thing that makes this cool. You get to use it as an opportunity attack, and it's a cantrip. So like you don't. It like conditionally makes it so that you could also cast this spell as a reaction.
Yep. Yeah, as long as you have access to the spell and you, I don't know,
Want
to do that.
It's like such a neat. It's such like a specific set of circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
But
I can see it though with the sort of eldritch horror theme of a character. I could see them being the kind of like a black hole character.
Oh yeah,
right.
yeah.
Like they stand in one spot and things come to them and they devour it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And now that I think about it too, it's also nice because what's the one thing that all warlocks do? Eldritch Blast.
Right.
Constantly.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
But if you're in melee with somebody, you can't Eldritch Blast. Well, you can, but you'll be at disadvantage for all of your Eldritch Blasts.
And that's stinky.
So, hey, here's a melee spell attack that also gives you a cool thing you can do if they run away. And then bonus, they ran away, so now you can Eldritch Blast them again on your next turn.
Just to clarify for all of our Malaysian fans out there, he meant melee and not Malay, but he said it goofy. But because like you can do that in any given language, but so if you're not like, if English isn't your first language and you're Malaysian, I don't want you to think that he's talking about you, but now is our chance to appreciate our Malaysian fans.
Yeah. Shout out to Malaysia and
I know
the people that live there.
I've only met one person from Malaysia.
I've never met, that's more than me. I've never met anyone from Malaysia.
Yeah. I went to high school with a guy from Malaysia and he was nice. He was cool.
All right, you heard it here first, Malaysia. You guys rock.
Yeah, pretty much the best people I've ever met.
Your entire country, awesome.
Well, he said that his parents were kind of mean.
Oh, well, okay. So other than this guy's parent, okay, you know what? That brings me back to neutral. Malaysia, you're all right.
Yeah. I think he had a nice brother.
Oh,
no,
okay.
Mean brother? Oh. Shoot, I don't remember.
My opinions are changing rapidly.
Yeah.
Malaysia, I'm not sure about you. But not in like the ambiguously like negative sense, just in a very neutral, I don't know.
Exactly. That's exactly how I feel on this subject.
Yeah.
Way to sum up exactly what I was thinking about Malaysia just now.
You know what? I aim to please. I aim to please. But I've heard people say that like legitimately, as if that's the way that you pronounce that word. Like I've always heard it.
Malay?
Yeah, Malay. I've always heard it pronounced melee.
You know what? Malay kind of makes sense because of with the weird accent over the second E, the third E, I guess.
The third, yeah.
You know the one I'm talking about.
The second E. That's
God, how many E's you got to put in a freaking word? Because I guess if you saw a name that was spelled Desiree with an accent over it, you'd say that, not Desiree,
but Desiree.
But Desiree.
Yeah. Right.
And like before I got married, my wife was my girlfriend.
Uh-huh.
But after she was my girlfriend, she was my fiance.
Oh yeah, not your finance.
Yeah. But I was her fiance.
But she was your fiance.
She was my fiance.
And you were her fiance.
I was her fiance.
Is that how that works?
Yeah. What I'm fairly certain on this.
Okay.
It's a linguistics podcast, so you guys can't correct me.
Right.
Fiance with one E at the end. That's a guy. Fiance with two E's at the end. That's a girl.
Oh, so the girl is fiance.
Fiance.
And the guy is the fiance.
Yeah.
So interestingly enough, the guy is the one who's pronounced more like Beyonce.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So that brings me back to my point.
Okay.
I guess you say it melee.
Melee.
Melee. Hello, I am melee.
Is that a French word?
I think so.
Melee. Why do we have a French combat word? I thought the French were not known for their combat at all.
Nice. You really got those French people
I
who
sure did.
totally didn't make up the martial arts savate, which introduced many head kicks to the world.
I totally got them.
Totally got those people.
Uh-huh.
I think they introduced head kicks to Muay Thai.
Did they really?
Yeah, I think so.
The French?
Or it was some kind of, back and forthy deal.
The only martial art that has ever come from France is free running. And of course there would be the martial art of running away. Anyway, oh, so hey, I've been on this Defunct Land YouTube channel rabbit hole.
Uh-huh.
That's another thing he talked about.
What?
He was talking about how people don't like standing in lines. But that's not true. Americans don't like standing in lines. When they opened Tokyo Disney in Japan, everybody was floored about how totally fine everybody was with standing in line for rides and stuff. They were like, I can't believe these people are so cool with just standing in line.
I think the average line there is like 4.5 hours or something.
Yeah, everybody's totally cool with it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, but you know what?
Mm-hmm.
The people that hate standing in line more than Americans, you got it. It's the French. There's a Disney in that place too.
Mm-hmm.
And they hate it there. Have you ever read up on the history of Disneyland Paris?
No.
The French want it gone. They want it gone. They hated it when it opened. They still hate it, I think, to this day because it brings tourists and nothing. The French hate tourists.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not the French, the Parisians.
Right.
And it's outside of Paris.
Yeah.
So I don't know why that's endlessly funny to me. I just think it's so funny that the French are like, get all this crap out of my country. Oh, man.
Dude, so when I was in Japan,
yes,
we went to an aquarium.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
It was awesome. They had whale sharks in their main big tank, which was insane. Because whale sharks, I don't know if you guys know this.
They're huge, right?
They're pretty big.
Yeah, they're freaking huge.
They are they the biggest animal I've seen in person? They're huge. They're gigantic. Mm-hmm. They're like the kind of big where, if you can see a 10-foot tall section of the aquarium, they'll swim past you for like a few seconds on their way up.
Jeez.
It's nuts. But we did happen to be there while a school group was going through, or possibly like 5. I couldn't really tell.
Yeah.
There were different colored hats. I didn't know if that was different classrooms or different schools. It seemed like a lot of kids,
right?
If it was different classrooms, a lot of kids per classroom. So I think it might have been different schools.
Gotcha.
Everybody else in the aquarium just like went over to a wall and stood there, or went and sat on one of the benches, while the kids just went straight through every group, all boom, boom, boom. They just went in a line and walked right through, looked at everything. They were just like, this, whoa, 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 the entire time.
Wow.
And then they just like, whoosh, and they were gone.
What?
It was such a weird, wild experience.
They just they systematically just were amazed by everything and then left.
Yeah. And it's like there were kids goofing around and stuff.
Sure.
But like any school trip I've been to, it's so hard to get the kids back on the bus.
Oh, it's like herding cats. Yeah.
Yeah. You can't get them back out. Like if you're in an aquarium, number one, you're going to lose 10 kids in a bathroom.
Yeah.
All right. Number 2, somebody's falling in to one of the tanks.
For sure.
Yeah, for sure.
100%.
Number 3, somebody probably is going to wet themselves or someone else, or spill something on somebody, right?
Barf, yeah.
Or barf. Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Oh my God. They'll probably barf into the little touch feel tanks where you can touch the stingrays. Oh my God.
That's biohazard.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a big problem. So yeah, stuff like that would happen. And when you went to, you'd have to basically wrap it up like 4 hours early and be like, all right, guys, time to go on the bus. And then spend the next 4 hours like, all right, well, I'm still missing 15.
Yeah.
So hopefully the ones on the bus stay on the bus, but they probably are going to have to go to the bathroom.
Right.
Because they're bored.
Yeah.
No, these kids, like, they were sat in these huge, like, grids outside of the aquarium when we went in, and we were like, "Oh, that's cool, fun! Like, this will be fun with the whole school trips coming through. Maybe they're like taking turns." And then it just was like an army of children, like marching through the whole thing. They were still being all goofy, and still like getting all distracted and messing with each other. Like they were doing exactly what you would expect kids to do in an aquarium,
right?
Except they just marched, and they just kept going. And because I think what would have happened is if they had stopped, like there were still 150 kids behind them, and they would have died.
They trampled.
Yeah,
completely trampled by the other children.
So like they didn't have a choice. Maybe is what happened.
I think part of this is Japanese culture.
Yeah,
that's the organization part.
Yeah,
that's why it went so smoothly.
Right.
But the other part of the experience was this was in Tokyo, right?
Osaka.
Oh, this was in Osaka. I was gonna say part of it had to have been big city stuff, but
Osaka's pretty big.
It's pretty big.
It's like if Tokyo. No, I'm not even gonna try it.
Well,
so if yeah, I don't know if I can make an analog because I haven't been to any big cities except for Tokyo, and Osaka's pretty big, but like Tokyo is the only big city I have to compare anything to.
You know what? In order to let me bounce this, I have a rebuttal.
Okay.
So I have actually witnessed an American school field trip. Young children. How old were these kids?
They varied in age, but looked to be from 1st to 5th grade, maybe.
Yeah, so like elementary school ages. Okay, yeah. So here in our small-ish place that we live, we have a zoo.
Basically a village. We live in a village. Yeah.
We do have a zoo though. It's not a big zoo at all. It's rather small. But we do have one. So I was there recently, like a week or two ago. Did I talk about this already?
I think so. Well, but not very much. Not this part.
Not this part. Because there was a group of school children. It was a school. It was probably one school, a couple of different classrooms. Because it wasn't very many. I mean, yeah, there was probably like 20 kids in each group. But man, oh man, I know what you mean, because it was so disorganized. Like they had to, like, they brought the kids through, and then and I was with somebody else, and we kind of were like, hey, maybe we should like let the kids pass us, you know, and then just like fall up behind them so that we're not like getting run over by children, and we can like appreciate this time at the zoo. It took like at least 15 to 20 minutes for the kids to pass us because, well, we thought it was over. Like a group of kids passed us, and we thought that was the only group of kids. So like they passed us, and then there was like a loop around thing. So we waited for them to be like out of our sight. But then another group of kids came. I think they were from the same school, but they were like so far behind. And then we were like, oh, okay. But then another group came out like directly behind them. And it was just insanity because the kids were going everywhere. They were everywhere. And every section that they went through, they had to stop, like get all the kids like in a line somehow, make sure that they had them all, and then move on to the next section.
Yep.
Right. But that was like every 3 to 5 animals.
Yeah, that's rough.
Right. So we were standing in the section that had the rhinos.
I'm glad I never had to deal with any of the hard parts of teaching.
Right, exactly. Yeah, we were pretty fortunate that way.
Like we had kids line up and stuff, and that worked great, but we never had to do this.
No, this would be a nightmare.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was the section with like there was rhinos, zebras, and the African dogs. The what are they called? There's some kind spotted dogs. The spotted dogs. Those were the only 3 animals in that section, and we waited there for a long time before those kids finally.
So you're telling me it
went
wasn't like just a 25-minute river of children, and then it was as if they were never there?
Not exactly. And to what you said earlier, there were scattered remnants of spilled snow cones and drinks and like all kinds of stuff like littered everywhere.
Now, what about their hats? Did they have colored hats?
They had matching t-shirts. Every kid was wearing the same t-shirt.
Ah.
And at first glance, we thought that every kid like made their own t-shirt. Like they were all the same color, so you could tell what they were. And they all had a picture of a tiger on it, but it was clearly made by a child.
Mm-hmm.
But upon closer inspection, they were all the same picture, clearly made by a child, but they were the same one. So we were thinking maybe some
Wait, a tiger.
artiste.
My wife made that.
Oh,
That's not entirely true. It's not entirely accurate, but the school who does tiger near us,
oh yeah, I know. Yeah.
she did a design for them, which they ended up modifying slightly to make it a little worse, and then used it without ever saying anything.
Really?
Yeah.
Like they didn't.
Well, she was in school. It was like a school assignment. It was in
okay.
college.
Uh-huh.
So they probably had the right to do that.
Yeah, probably.
But like it would have been cool if they told her.
Yeah, probably would have been
Yeah.
cool if they told her.
And it's the one that you see now. Like it's the one that they're using currently.
Really? I mean,
Yeah.
I haven't seen. No, but this was clearly
This was like a child's drawing.
This was like a handprint,
Oh.
like drawing thing. Yeah, that would have been hilarious though if I was like, yeah, it was this childish looking.
That's
oh,
a
my
good
wife
idea
did-
though. I'm gonna tell her about that idea for her next design.
Oh, like a handprint thing.
Yeah, like a handprint thing.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, yeah, I thought after reflection, since they were all the same picture, that probably the kids voted on whichever one they thought was the best looking one, or the teachers, or something.
Yeah.
Like the kids all made them, and then they picked one and made that the design for the teachers.
Right. It was obviously the most popular kid. Or whatever.
Yeah.
I know how those things went in grade
How it
school.
always is. Well, I think we're done here.
Yep. I guess let's start another episode. Hey, all you.
Yeah. Oh.
No, we're not doing that. All right. See ya.
Bye-bye.